Hey there, Alina here. Thank you so much for being a part of this channel. And as you know, a lot of my videos are about recovery, burnout, self loss, my own journey over these last 3 or 4 years of reclaiming the life that I want to live for myself. And I could not have done any of that without self love. And so I want to talk about that today because that makes a lot of people uncomfortable. But self love is so important. In fact, what if the whole point of life is learning how to love ourselves? And this goes against a lot of what we're taught. And I think this is why it makes people uneasy, because it clashes with our deep-seated insecurities about ourselves and also what is okay. Did we grow up being told to love ourselves and to take care of ourselves first? Not really. And especially if you grew up as a little girl, you're always told to make sure that everybody else is okay. And this is not about zero sum or taking all the love for yourself and leaving other people behind. It's not that at all. It's actually the opposite of that. It's expansive. When I love myself more, what does that create? It creates a happier, grounded, more present person that is out in the world and can serve others better. So it takes us out of societal conditioning that says that we need external validation to inform our worth. And this is something that drove me straight to burnout. This, I need other people to tell me that I'm okay. I need to have other people tell me that I'm valuable. I need to have other people tell me that I'm worthy. No, that is a never ending game. And if you played it the way I did, I had plenty of people telling me that I was great. But the 3 or 4 or 10 people that told me I wasn't, those were the ones that I held on to. Those were the ones that I said, yep, I know. And why was that? It's because inside, that is what I was telling myself. It's deeply painful to even think about that. How many people are out there feeling like they're not worthy and then scanning for external people or situations or circumstances to tell them that? Gosh, I got emotional talking about that. Self-love, loving yourself, is not selfish. Loving yourself resources yourself. Loving yourself helps you to do what you need to do to be the best version of yourself. And past traumas that we feel shame or guilt over, that clouds our self-love. When we think about all the ways that we're flawed, because we're human. Of course we're flawed. We're not perfect. But if you're somebody that's under the assumption that you have to be perfect to be loved, it's hard to love yourself. If you're somebody who spends a lot of their inner mental chatter criticizing themselves, that inner critic, that fierce inner critic, have you taken a moment to really listen to that inner critic? It could be you. It could be fully you attacking yourself every moment. It might also be somebody else. It might be somebody else's voice you recognize that you've internalized as your own. And now you're holding yourself hostage to that voice. Loving yourself is not toxic positivity. Loving yourself is essential to take care of yourself. So in talking about self-love, what I'm really talking about is the ultimate self-compassion. Love yourself the way that you love your children. Love yourself the way that you love your beloved pet. Love yourself the way that you love in life. Give it back to yourself. And the reason why I started this out saying if the whole point in life is for us to come home to ourselves, forgive ourselves, and love ourselves, is because imagine if everyone did this. Imagine if everyone was walking around with full hearts, clear eyes, and love overflowing from themselves to give to other people. Again, this is not selfish. This is important. This is the work we need to do right now. So self-love. I had to have self-love in order to recover. When I was recovering from burnout and then recovering from addiction and then trying to build a sense of self from literally nothing, I had to have self-love. I had to feel like I was worth it. I had to have compassion for myself. And when you have compassion and self-love for yourself, you can do a lot easier. You can set boundaries. When you're coming from a place of knowing that you're good and whole and worthy, setting those boundaries comes a lot easier. And yes, this is self-care. This is taking care of yourself. Taking care of yourself. And I don't mean bubble baths and manicures. I mean going to sleep when you want to go to sleep. Not going to something if you don't want to go to something. Saying, I think I need to stop drinking. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to make a lot of shifts in my life. That's self-care. That's self-preservation. Let's get it out of our heads that self-care is bubble baths and manicures and silly time. It's essential. It's appropriate and it's necessary. Self-love informs the way you talk to yourself. That inner critic has got to go. It's completely unhelpful. If you think that your inner critic helps you, you have a misunderstanding. Your inner critic zaps your life force energy. It drains your battery. Would you talk to your children the way you talk to yourself? It's a really good question to ask when you think about how hard you are on yourself. What would it be like to accept who you are in all of your flaws, in all of your beauty, in all of the ways that just make yourself cringe? Just accept it. Just accept it. That self-acceptance goes a long way towards self-love and to forgiving yourself. A part of recovery, no matter what your recovery is, if you're recovering from something, you've got some guilt and shame in that closet that you're coming out of. There are times where I think about things that I've done in my drinking or in my addiction or when I was burned out and had nothing to give to other people. I had to do a lot of forgiving myself. Because if I don't forgive myself, I'm not loving myself. Forgiveness is key. Nobody goes through life not hurting other people, not hurting themselves, not making the wrong decisions. So much of what life is offering us choices. We go through life, we're given choices, we make choices, and then we get feedback from those choices. What if you looked at life like that? What kind of permission slip does it give you when you understand that sometimes you didn't make the right choice and you got feedback from that choice, and then you changed and you pivoted based on that feedback? That's called growing up. That's called evolving. That's not called messing up. When you are able to look at yourself clearly and say, yep, that was wrong. I did that and I'm learning from it and I'm apologizing and taking accountability and moving forward. That is the modeling that we need. That is what makes life run so much more smoothly for you and in your relationships. There's nobody walking around that just does everything perfect and always makes the right choices and their feedback is always rainbows and butterflies. Just expect that you are going to be imperfect. From the moment you came into this world until the moment you leave, you will be imperfect. But that is because what we're supposed to do here is learn and grow from those flaws and those mistakes and those imperfections. When you love yourself, you are more available for healthier relationships. When you are in a relationship with somebody who struggles to love themselves, they will struggle to love you back. And it is not cognizant, it's not conscious. It's just the way it is. That when we are not loving ourselves, we have less love to give to other people. If you can tap in to real self-love, what you're doing is you're allowing yourself to grow. You're allowing yourself to grow up. And whatever goals that you have in life, and I hope that you have them, it will come to you so much easier with self-love. Your mental health will improve. Your resilience will improve. You'll find purpose and meaning in your life from a place of self-love. How do you get there? How do you get to a place of self-love? You need to honor yourself. You need to commit to yourself and then not break those promises and those commitments. And just really look at yourself and where you're holding yourself back, where your fears are, where your shame and your guilt is. This is what the work is. When people talk about they've been doing the work, this is the work. It's self-inquiry. It's not navel-gazing. It's not selfish. It is safe and appropriate and necessary to look at what is going on inside of your inner world and how that is coming out of you and affecting your reality. One of the things that I started to do in early recovery was I tried to mirror gaze. And if you haven't ever heard of mirror gazing, it's by yourself, standing in front of a mirror, really looking into your eyes. If you want to know your level of self-love, do that. Do it for 5 minutes. Set a timer and see if you can look at yourself in your eyes quietly for 5 minutes. That will show you exactly where your self-love is. I was triggered so hard the first time I tried to do it. And it was funny. I was a hairstylist for 25 years and I worked in front of a mirror. I never did this sort of work in front of a mirror. I couldn't do it. It makes me really sad now to think about that, about how much self-loss was in that. But I'm in my 3rd year of sobriety now, and I have done a lot of the work, and that work has translated to more self-love. And now I can look at myself in the mirror, and it's actually really empowering to look at myself, really look at myself. And another thing that's really helpful is EFT, emotional freedom tapping. So you tap certain parts, certain acupressure points while you say a mantra. I am worthy of loving myself. I can love myself and it is not selfish. I can love myself and set boundaries. And you say whatever your mantra is as you go through the tapping points. And you do it over and over again until something starts to shift. It's incredibly powerful. You can look it up. It's called EFT tapping. And it feels really good while you're doing it. It feels like energy's moving while you're doing it and something shifts. When I do mirror gazing now, not only can I withstand it, I feel like I'm looking at my soul, like I'm welcoming in myself. And if you can do that, that is your inner power. That is freedom. Thank you for listening to this. I hope that more than anything, that we can all become a world where we can love ourselves. Thanks for listening.